Hey, everybody.
What is going on, YouTube? It's Dynasty Buffs bringing a week 4 waiver wire with top 10 fantasy defenses. And I'm H, Dynasty Buffs, and Max is joining me today. All right, let's get into it.
All right, let's get started.
Nice. All right, week 3 recap. We saw the Dolphins kick butt against the Broncos. Cowboys did Cowboys things. Jamar Chase looks like he's back. He looked pretty nice last night. And let's see what the Bengals do going forward. Jordan Love clutched up against the Saints on Sunday. He looked good. I'm surprised. Actually surprised at how well he's doing. Justin Herbert did good against Minnesota. Only quarterback that hasn't turned over the ball. Sam Howell, I don't think, is a franchise quarterback, and that's a me thing. CJ Stroud is making a case for Offensive Rookie of the Year based on the past performances. It's looking pretty solid.
He looked really good.
Yeah, I was thoroughly impressed. Colts look good with Minshew. Zach Wilson's bad, struggled against Bill Belichick this week. I know the Jets are signing Trevor Siemian. Not sure how that's going to work out with the Jets. What's going on? Patrick Mahomes, that dude, destroyed the Bears this week, and everybody's seeing the Taylor Swift stuff that's been going on. So, all right. And next slide. Man, tons and tons of injuries.
Yeah, it's pretty ugly.
Yeah, I feel bad for anybody that has Mike Williams on your team. He's out for the year, torn ACL. So you gotta make sure you hammer your waivers this week and make sure you get a guy that you can keep for the rest of the year. JT still dealing with the ankle. Cooper Kupp gonna come back with that hammy, hopefully week 5. Jamal Williams placed on IR now, so it looks like Kendry Miller and Alvin Kamara will be the running backs right now. And then Derek Carr, AC joint injury, so Jameis Winston should be starting this week. Joe Burrow still dealing with that calf injury. Didn't look that good last night. Looks like he was opening some throws. Saquon Barkley still dealing with that high ankle sprain. Austin Eckler still dealing with his injury. Aaron Jones, Christian Watson with the hammies. Montgomery's also questionable. That quad injury, OBJ's ankle. T. Higgins, I have no idea why he was considered injured or questionable. He looked bad on Monday. I'm not sure if he was like sick or like.
So you're saying the questionable is just on the injuries, not necessarily on whether you started or not, based on his past performance so far this year. I'm just joking on that one. Yeah, I know it's for injury.
He dropped so many balls yesterday. I don't know what's going on with him yesterday.
He hasn't been the same since the whole Hamlin thing.
Yeah, he changed his number. He's number 5 now too.
I got him in just about the large portion of my leagues, and he has been a big disappointment. Watson as well, the hammy. I mean, you can almost throw him up there with Cooper Kupp in the hammy IR.
3 weeks. And
it's killing me.
Gus Edwards, he's in concussion protocol. Mingo, Jimmy G, Jalen Waddle. Maybe we see what's his name? The rookie quarterback. Oh, Aiden O'Connell. Maybe Aiden O'Connell starts this week. I don't know what's going to happen with the.
He looked good preseason.
He did.
Let's see what he does.
So some guys that are trending down, and maybe you've had enough with them, right? Maybe you're just kind of tired of them, and they're not doing it for you. Maybe you're 0-3 right now, and you're like, man, I have these guys on my team. I don't know what I'm going to do. I keep losing my weeks. I need something to happen. I wouldn't say completely dump them yet. I would definitely consider trading Justin Fields if you can get something for him. He's looking almost like he's going to be on waivers, but not sure what's going to happen. He has a good matchup this week against the Broncos. Could bounce back. They have one of the worst run defenses in football. Could help him out. Kyle Pitts, dude's bad. One of the most elite generational type prospects. Generational year as a rookie, and Arthur Smith hates him. And Jerry Jones actually tried calling the Falcons to ask if they would be willing to trade Kyle Pitts, and they said no. So Kyle Pitts is there to stay.
That hurts him career wise.
Yeah, free Kyle Pitts. Trevor Lawrence, I was very disappointed in as well on Sunday. I have him and ETN and Ridley on my Scott Fishbowl league, and man, they struggled. They didn't even play average against Houston.
Yeah,
they lost to Houston.
What do you think the issues with T-Law there? I had high hopes for him this year. I really did. He was starting to look good at the end of last year. He had that comeback game after throwing the 5 interceptions in the playoffs to win. They got Ridley. They look like they got better.
Yeah.
And he's been playing horribly. The whole team has.
Yeah, Lawrence did fine. His guys kept dropping balls. He didn't have Zay Jones.
True.
But inexcusable, dude. You have more talent around you and a better defense than Houston. You lost to Houston.
Yeah, Stroud had better numbers. You're right. He did have a lot of drops. He didn't do it bad, but it wasn't great overall.
And then this guy, the next guy, Prescott. Dude, he's like quarterback 28. Quarterback 28. And people drafted him as top 12 this year, right? Top 12 quarterback. So he's done nothing. He's been bad for fantasy. Even real life, like he struggled yesterday, or excuse me, on Sunday.
Yeah.
Jacobs, he's also been struggling in Las Vegas. CD hasn't been looking too good. Yeah, maybe he took Garrett Wilson in the first round this year, and CD, and maybe he took T. Higgins like around 3, and you're just like, man, I don't even know what to do with these guys anymore. They keep blowing my weeks. I just don't know what to do. For CD and T. Higgins, I would still hold tight. Garrett Wilson, man, if you didn't trade in week 1, you're going to be in trouble. It doesn't look better next couple weeks. So,
it doesn't look good for Dak. I don't mean to backtrack, but when Kazir White called him out, and then ends up picking the ball off in the end zone when he's throwing it in the triple coverage.
That's pretty funny.
With all the heat that Dak's been getting, I mean, the whole team played bad. The coaching, don't make no mistake, but the fact that he was called out like that, it'll be interesting to see if he can bounce back mentally.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get into waiver wire week 4. So obviously you guys have probably already seen the 2 guys that everybody's going to go after. Achane and Tank Dell. Well, here's a real thing, right? If you're in a competitive league like a lot of the ones that I'm in, and more than likely Achane is not going to be on waivers. Somehow he's on waivers in the league that I'm in with the followers, because the guy decided to drop him because he's like, oh, he's not going to do anything. So he dropped him for Dalvin Cook, and then Achane went off for like 50. So I feel bad for him. So now he's available in that league for me, but all my other leagues he's not even available. But maybe he's on there. If he's there, consider getting him. But just be aware that everybody's going to blow all their fab to get him, and I don't think it's kind of worth it. So basically, he's RB6. Mostert, the guy that was also with him, he's RB1 overall. Offense is crazy fast. Looks like Mike McDaniels is going to be doing the running back by committee. So just be careful spending all your fab on Achane, right? So last week, everybody was saying blow all your fab on Jerome Ford. So just be careful just doing that. Don't go 100% fab, because even next week there could be even another guy that just becomes a guy. So just be careful, right? Maybe next week it's Quinn Johnston, or maybe the week after it's another running back, and could be, I don't know, somebody else. All right, maybe Tony Pollard gets injured, and is it going to be Deuce Vaughn season? Is it going to be Rico Dowdle season? Just be careful with blowing all your fab, especially on a team that does the running back by committee. Okay, let's keep going here. So because both Max and I do dynasty as well as like prospect evaluations, so this is back in February, right? So I said Achane Reminds me of Eckler and Tony Pollard. So size-wise, speed-wise, production-wise, he's very similar to Austin Eckler. I think, I said one sentence, Achane is a workhorse back with elite rushing skills with a chance at being a 3-down back. Even today, that thing is still holding up. I still feel that way. He graded as a good prospect in my my model. You can find the link to my tweets on this in the thread in the description. I'm a big fan of Achane, but I think this is a little much to crown him as a guy that you can just keep and start every week going forward. I'm not comfortable saying that yet.
Unless you have no other option.
Yeah.
Which is quickly becoming the case after all the injuries.
Yeah. But yeah, like, he's fast, smooth, shifty runner, elite top end speed. I mean, I think he's got his weight up. I don't think he's really at 185 anymore. I think he's maybe around like 195, 200. It looks like he's getting his strength up. He was actually pretty good in pass protection too, so he's going to be a good one. All right, let's get the waiver ads. So again, Achane will be at the top of the list because those running backs, they just keep getting injured. But just be careful spending 100% on it because again, it could be somebody else next week. Even here, Roschon Johnson, maybe Khalil Herbert gets injured. Could be Roschon season. Maybe ETN, right? Maybe ETN gets injured. Is it Tank Bigsby season? Just be careful. So my next guy is Quentin Johnson, right? So we just saw Mike Williams tear that ACL. The Los Angeles Chargers drafted Quentin Johnson in the first round. I've liked QJ for quite some time. I've seen say get Josh Palmer. Yeah, sure. Maybe Josh Palmer would be better in the short term, but long term, Quentin Johnson's the guy to get. I think he's going to be as the year goes on, he'll improve and get better as normal, pretty standard for rookie wide receivers. So just be patient if you get QJ. He might not be stellar the first week or two. He might get you, 7, 8 points. But maybe down the road, he gets you actually 17. He could be that guy. He could be the wide receiver 2 on the Chargers. Tank Dell, you could even consider putting him over Quentin Johnson, but I just think long term, Quentin Johnson's a better play. Short term, Tank Dell could get you those points. Looks like he's getting a better target share right now compared to Nico. And then this week, Nico is also going to have the cornerback 1 when they go against their competition this week. Oh, they're playing the Steelers. So I think he'll probably have the kid out of Penn State guarding him. And I don't know who's going to be on Tank Dell. Adam Thielen. I've liked Adam Thielen for a long time since back in July. Right. You and I both said that somebody has to catch the ball on that Carolina's offense.
Yeah.
It's got to be somebody. So even if Young plays, if Dalton plays, it don't matter. Somebody's going to catch the ball. Thielen. I have him on Scott Fishbowl. I have him in all majority of my dynasty leagues. I started him in pretty much every league I could this week. That dude got 30 points. He's a top 15 wide receiver right now. How is he not rostered on every single team right now? How? He should be. Marvin Mims. The dude's solid. He's one of the most efficient and one of the best wide receivers right now in football. Sean Payton, you are doing a disservice to this kid by not playing him on every single snap as much as you can. He's your best wide receiver. You have to use him. Don't take him out to get Adam Trotman some snaps. Quit doing that. Roschon Johnson, he seems to be becoming the running back 1 slowly. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the Bears at all now, dude. I don't know what's going to happen with the Bears. Could be a long-term shot play again. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Herbert. But yeah, go ahead and take a shot. Roschon Johnson could be RB1 on that team.
Your quarterback play is going to be a big one on that one too, right? Because Justin Fields really hasn't delivered at all this year, and it looks like he won't be delivering at all.
Yeah, I feel bad for the kid. I really do. I don't like to see any guys that are really busting their butts out there doing the best they can, and everybody wants them to fail. I don't want that for Fields. I really hope he can learn to improve his anticipation and help out his players too.
I think guys always want them to succeed for the most part so that all the other players do better on the team because a lot of it's quarterback dependent, right? If they don't play well, they're not going to do well.
Yeah. Next ones we got Josh Downs, Joshua Palmer, Luke Musgrave, Zach Ertz, CJ Stroud. All right, so Downs, he looks like he's just the checkoff guy. Minshew, yeah, he looked pretty solid this week. Maybe Richardson uses him more now. Palmer, again, short-term play for me. Luke Musgrave still looks like he's a solid tight end. Jordan Love looks like he's a pretty good quarterback. He's using Musgrave and he's throwing a Musgrave. Sometimes he's not as accurate. Maybe they'll balance out with the A dot and I don't know. He's a good tight end. Go ahead and take him. He's got really good air yards as well, so it could be a good pick. Zach Ertz, I mean, looks like he's developing a connection with Josh Dobbs, but I don't know, man. These tight ends, I feel like every week it could just change. Just streaming options. I think Luke Musgrave could be a long-term play in case you picked up Kyle Pitts. Yeah, CJ Stroud for streaming and long-term, just in case you lost, Derek Carr. Like Justin Fields isn't just doing it for you anymore. Take them. And Joshua Dobbs as well. Error on that. Just Dobbs.
Spell correct, I think, on that one. But yeah, Josh Dobbs, he's surprised. What, 3%? I was one pushing for this, thinking, hey, if you need a quarterback, because your quarterback's been getting injured, he hasn't been looking bad. I know he's kind of a journeyman in the NFL, but he's actually, producing decent numbers and, he's playing hard. Can't fault him for that. So if you don't have another option, he might be a better play than some of the other ones that are out there.
Yeah, he's also got the rushing upside too. I've been seeing him run too. I mean, he seems like a pretty good option, especially if you just lost Derek Carr too. Maybe you had really bad luck and you had Aaron Rodgers, and then you started Aaron Rodgers, and then you got injured, and then you had to pick up Derek Carr, and then you just lost Derek Carr. So maybe you're stuck with only Dobbs.
Yeah.
All right, so some of these players, I think, might be on your waivers. It might not be. I don't know. These are guys from like last week. Puka, Williams, Nico, Jay Reed, Zach Moss, Jalen Warren, Matt Breida, and Jake Ferguson. So Kyron Williams had 100% of the team snaps on Monday. 100%. I've never seen that, like, ever. 100%. That guy was used in everything. Nico Collins, again, he had one of the stronger cornerbacks on him this week. He still looked pretty good out there. I know he didn't produce as much as we wanted him to, but I think he'll still be a solid option going forward. I think he could be wide receiver 1 on the Texans as Stroud develops that deep threat. Just that's kind of it. Maybe Zach Moss, Jaden Reed, maybe. Again, Ferguson's another option. If you want to talk
Ferguson's not bad. I keep an eye on him. I'm a Dallas fan, so the thing about Ferguson is sometimes they kind of go tight end by committee, but Ferguson certainly gets the targets. This last week against Arizona, I think he still had 7 targets for the game. It was one of the most up there for one of the top targeted folks catching the ball. He's been like that every week.
Yeah, he gets you like a solid 8-9 points a week.
So if he turns it in and actually gets touchdowns, that could be a change and a spike in that. But just keep an eye on him because, hey, if you got an empty spot, something certainly look at in terms of targets.
Yeah, so here if we look at this might be a little messy. I'm not sure if you guys can see it very well on the slides. But basically, it's just wide receivers coming out of college and how they look in zone coverage. I circle Josh Downs, Tank Dell, and Marvin Mims. So on a target on the target passer rating, and then yards per route run. So we look at yards per route run. Mims is up on the top. Tank Dell is more on the bottom, and in the middle is Josh Downs. So basically, it just says like, what can they do on the field? So Tank Dell is going to be your guy underneath, but he's also been lining up outside as well. Downs, another underneath guy, but also has the ability to go out deep. Mims is a long-term play potentially for the Broncos if they develop him using him correctly underneath and as a deep threat. So if I had to pick one out of these three, maybe the rest of the year, I'll still probably go with Mims.
Agreed.
So now we get into some of the defenses and some of the things to think about as we have our first game on Thursday with Green Bay Packers and Detroit Lions. All right, so I adjusted these. These are new top 10 best defenses in the NFL according to me. Again, you guys know I've been very high in Cleveland since week 1. I said pick them up, just keep it the rest of the year. They look like the real deal. I'm moving up to 2 now. Deshaun Watson's turning it around. I still think the Browns are going to be pretty solid. Dallas, I have them trending down right now. Losing Trayvon Diggs, I think, has really hurt them.
It was a huge hit. And then offensively, they lost some offensive linemen, which kind of puts more pressure on the defense as well. I think you'll see them probably slide a little bit more as you progress on.
Yeah, and then Patriots as well. They look good, man. Patriots defense looks solid. Christian Gonzalez, another guy that we've liked here. He looks good. Great cornerback. Jets defense, I don't know what's going to happen with the Jets defense because that offense is just so bad. If the defense is going to be on the field the entire time, it'll be tough. I mean, they're playing Kansas City this week. I might even consider moving them down. Ravens, Bills, Eagles, and Saints and Commanders.
I think the Eagles are always going to be tough just because the offense is tough. I mean, they have great players. They've had some injuries, but still, I think you're going to see them slowly march up just out of consistency. We'll see.
Yeah, Saints, Commanders. I mean, they still look good. Chase Young looks like he's back. He did pretty solid on Sunday against the Bills. But I don't know about Sam Howell. I'm not sure if he's going to be improving or being the guy going forward. I'm not sure what they're going to do.
I would say wait a week. I know you had me on there before, but I'd say let's see how he bounces back. I got to see the game this past Sunday, and his interceptions were horrible. A couple of them, he's trying to outjump the defender. Kind of interesting. You know, the size issue was something that definitely bit him. But I think he's also trying to throw something that he thought he'd get away with in college that just absolutely is not going to work in the pros. They made great defensive plays, but they snagged him. So I think the big thing to watch with him is he going to go ahead and make that adjustment? And instead of trying to make something happen, is he going to make the smart pass? I don't know. We'll see. If he doesn't, then he'll, ride off into the sunset and write off the page.
I think he's a good backup, right? He could be a really nice backup, and he can be starting the league. But I'm not sure if he'll be the guy going forward for the Commanders. But yeah, we'll wait and see. He's still young. He was still promised. Like he's a good prospect coming out of college, right? People are still shocked that he made it to the 6th round. But yeah, he definitely upside is definitely there. All right, week 4 outlook. So again, we mentioned, Thursday, their Green Bay and Detroit Lions, and then all the way up until Monday. No more. I don't think there's any more double headers on Monday night. I think they're done with that. So I guess that's good.
I'm not a big fan of that whole setup, but
no, yeah, I don't like flipping back and forth between channels or putting two things. I don't like that. There's too much stuff you can't really focus on. So here's top 15 defensive options for week 4. For me, obviously if you have the Niners, good for you. Chiefs, they can be picked up. I've seen them on waivers. Cowboys, I mean Cleveland, they might still be on waivers. Pick them up, please do.
What surprised me has been the Bucks, Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
their defense is a lot better than I imagined.
They've been good. They've been looking pretty good. Just more. Maybe we could talk about the one I'm really concerned about. I might have to move them down. Are the where are they at? The Jets. I'm not sure how they're gonna do this week. The Broncos and Chicago game should be a lot of fun though. I know they're like the 2 worst teams in football, but it should be a fun game.
I would expect the Broncos to bounce back just because that was a humiliating loss. one for the record books, basically, right? You
Mhm.
would think that they would bounce back. They still have some pretty good players and a good pedigree. I'd be surprised if they didn't come out ready to play.
Yeah. Still can't believe they got 70 dropped on them. And Sean Payton kind of just said, it is what it is. All right. Top 6 run defenses and who they're playing. So the Eagles are playing the Washington Commanders this week. Eagles up to 48 rushing yards per game and 3 yards per carry. So it might not be a good week for Brian Robinson.
Or Sam Howell.
Yeah.
He's going to have his work cut out for him.
They're really going to make him throw.
A bounce back week, and yeah, exactly right. They're going to put the pressure on him.
Cleveland, they're playing Baltimore. Dude, I don't know about the running backs. Is it Justice Hill now because
he's out? At least what they're showing. I mean, I don't know. Well,
who's starting? Melvin Gordon? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen that week.
Lamar Jackson will be doing it all, just like every other year.
Yes. And then Arizona, they're playing San Francisco this week. James Conner might finally get his matchup against a good defense.
Thing to watch on that one with the Cardinals to see if linebacker White says anything to Purdy like he did to Dak.
Yeah. Tennessee playing Cincinnati. Whatever. Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing New Orleans. And then the game on Thursday, Detroit playing Green Bay. So I'm not sure if we're going to do another video on Thursday or not before Thursday, but just for Thursday, be careful if you're starting Aaron Jones or A.J. Dillon this week. I'm not sure if Aaron Jones is going to play again this week because he's still dealing with the hamstring injury. And A.J. Dillon has not looked good, man, this year. Don't know what's going on. But Jordan Love has been also rushing as well, too. So pretty low on Green Bay and their Green Bay's running backs this week. All right, top 6 pass defenses. All right, we got Cleveland. See, man, Cleveland, please. Cleveland should be 100% rostered. Please. They're a good defense. Bills, they're playing Miami. Okay, so Tua is actually going to go against a pretty solid defense. Last week, that was literally the worst defense ever.
Yeah, he had a lot of time too to throw. I was watching some of the film. It's like, oh my goodness, he's got plenty of time. He's going to carve you up.
Yeah,
he did.
Expect the Bills to put more pressure on Tua this week. Cowboys are playing New England. This could be a really good matchup for the Cowboys defense.
Oof.
Mac Jones has not been that guy, man. The Rams are playing Indy. I'm not sure who's going to be playing quarterback this week. I think it's Richardson, but be conservative on the wide receivers and quarterback this week. Falcons are playing Jacksonville in London. Man.
Wow. So Jacksonville needs a good game, but I don't know if this is going to be it.
Yeah, another tough matchup again for Trevor Lawrence this week. You know, you really have to consider sometimes. Maybe you might have to sit him this week. I'm not sure. I don't think I would do it. I can't sit my studs, man. I just can't. But, like, you have to have a conversation. Maybe you go pick up Brock Purdy. Maybe you do it. Maybe you start Brock Purdy this week over Trevor Lawrence. All right. I said go do it this week with Joe Burrow because Joe Burrow was injured. But maybe you have to have that conversation too with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I started Purdy over Burrow.
Yeah, I texted you and say, hey, I don't even know if Burrow's going to play, but if he plays, I don't think he's going to do very well. So start him. All right, we got the Chargers playing Las Vegas. I don't know who's going to be playing quarterback for Las Vegas, but, fire up Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers this week. Seattle Seahawks are playing New York Giants. Does Daniel Jones turn it around this week? He has to turn around this week, right? He has to.
Against the Seahawks? Yeah, I guess with the worst pass defense is what you're saying.
Okay. Russell Wilson has actually been pretty solid this year. Even though they've been losing, he's actually been a lot better quarterback play. And even for fantasy, he's been better than I expected. I don't know what Denver's going to do this week. I really hope they continue to use Mims because he's been their best guy, man. He's been like what, averaging 15 a week in fantasy, and he had like 100 and some yards, and he had like a kick return. He's been good. He's been a deep threat, and the guy underneath. I got to keep using him. Chicago, yeah, I really hope this is Justin Fields. Like, bro, you have to do well against the Broncos. They're not good. Their defense sucks. You have to do well this week. It should be a shootout, but I don't know. I don't know.
It's a tough year. Overall, it's a tough year.
Yeah. So if Joe Burrow was healthy, man, he would have a pretty good week here against the Titans. I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but it's pretty clear Jamar Chase is their guy. I'm not sure what's going on with T. Higgins, so fire up Jamar Chase again. Oh my gosh, worst run defense. Do not have the Broncos in your starting lineup. Get them out. Get a new team, please.
Orange Crush.
Yes. Steelers, get them out. Get them out of your lineups. Justin Fields should have a good game, man. Just run the ball, pass the ball. You can't mess this up. The Steelers. Okay, they're playing Houston.
I'd be interested to see how it goes, quite frankly.
Yeah, I think it might be the game of the week. Game of the week, everybody. Okay, Bengals. Yeah, Tennessee. Maybe Joe Mixon. Or Derrick Henry, excuse me. Fire up Derrick Henry. He should have a bounce back week this week. Hopefully he's better from his injuries, but I'm not sure. Giants, fire up Kenneth Walker. Zach Sharp. Okay, we just said this, right? Devon Achane. Yeah, don't blow all your fab. Maybe Zach Charbonnet, maybe Kenneth Walker gets injured, and it could be Zach Charbonnet season. Those target shares, those splits.
Yeah, they're doing the committee for sure, and he's actually had pretty good amount of carries this week. Pretty good bump.
Yeah.
I got Charbonnet on one of my teams, and I actually started him because I had so many injuries at running back that, hey, he actually got me decent points. I was fairly happy with that.
Yeah, I said we've said this before, right? If Jack Charbonnet was drafted to basically any other team without a running back, he'd be a top 12 running back.
Too bad he's not on Miami, huh?
Oh, man. No. Could you imagine if he was on the Bills? Imagine if Charbonnet was on the Chiefs. That's what needs to happen. All right. Carolina are playing Minnesota. I think we're done with Madison, right? We're done with Madison, right? Are we done? I'm done with him. He's not good, bro. He had that one. I was like, he's going to do well week 1. And I'm like, he's trash now. Okay, Green Bay.
Hey, for fairness, though, I said Mostert, he had a horrible week 1, and then he's like RB1 now. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you serious?
It's okay though, because I put Mostert in the top 10 this week, or week 3. So I started Mostert. I said we should start him everywhere. So don't worry, we're good. We're good.
Just saying
it. Green Bay Packers. They are playing the Detroit Lions. I'm
that could hurt them.
Yeah, I'm not disappointed in Jahmyr Gibbs, but I feel bad for anybody that really drafted him in like round 4 or 5. Maybe you drafted him in round 3. I never put those expectations on Jahmyr Gibbs being top 10. I can't believe people are doing that. That's just crazy.
What's odd with that whole thing is he started off. You saw the first game. He was very fast. He's very electric, very explosive. You're thinking certainly Detroit's going to use him. I had Montgomery too, and they were using him on the goal line. A lot of the carries. He's kind of hurt. You'd think they would use Gibbs more, but what do? They didn't use Swift very much either. Another fairly explosive player. It's almost like the Kyle Pitts situation for the tight end down in Atlanta. Is what it seems like in Detroit. Hey, we don't use fast, explosive, smaller running backs.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Seems that way. I mean, it's too early to tell, but red flags are starting to pop up a little bit.
Yeah, you're totally right. On Saturday, I said on Twitter, tomorrow we find out if Dan Campbell loves Jahmyr Gibbs as much as Arthur Smith loves Kyle Pitts. We found out the answer. Dan Campbell loves Jahmyr Gibbs so much. He wants him to be David Montgomery. But he's not. He's not. I said, I think
just
week
hurts.
1. Yeah, I said week 1, consider trading him if you're a contender. You might have to cash out because he's not. I don't think he's going to be that good this year. Next year, I think he'll be better for fantasy purposes as well as for the team next year. This year, don't feel like he fills the role that they want him to be. All right, and that is it for now. That is it for week 4 waiver wire. You got anything else?
No, I just re-looking at the stats for Gibbs. He did get 17 carries, 80 yards, 4.7. Pretty good. 2 targets in the receiving, kind of odd, but that's what they did.
All right.
So they're actually using him a little bit, but again, that's probably none from Montgomery. He's out.
Yeah, he might be out again this week. I'm not sure.
So they're using him obviously, but when Montgomery's in there, they don't use him much. We'll see what happens after this. Is why I say keep an eye on it to see if it's going to be as bad as Pitts. Anyway, that was my parting shot there. I wanted to close the loop on.
No, you're good. Of course. Yeah, I mean on Thursday it's short notice too. Maybe Montgomery's not going to play, and maybe you fire up Gibbs again. Gibbs has to do well on Thursday here because they're playing a bottom 6 defense against the run. They got to use him. They have to use Jahmyr Gibbs. They better use him out of the backfield and maybe do screen passes with them. Maybe use him as a pass catcher. They got to figure that out. Yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for joining us today. Make sure to like the video, share the video, subscribe. We got more videos coming. We'll be doing another live video on Sunday morning. We're going to be having a guest come join the show. He's a fan of the podcast and a follower of ours. He's a regular guy that, he does fantasy football, like redraft only. So I'm excited to have him on the show on Sunday. Feel free to ask him the questions. Okay. Do I trade DJ Moore for Jerome Ford? Gosh. Assuming this is full PPR. It looks like Jerome Ford has hands. He surprised me this week. I did not expect him to do as well as he did. He did better in the running game or the passing game than he did in the running game. But I'm not sure what's going to happen with Kareem Hunt either. But man, Justin Fields is just not it. But he's force feeding DJ Moore too. It's a toss up. I'm gonna go with, if I have to, what's a guy I can start and give me some points but not have upside? Jerome Ford, I feel like you're safe play. Your running backs are Achane, Breda, Damian Pierce, and Samaje P. Oh my goodness. And your wide receivers are who? Can you type that in the chat real quick? Wait for him. Achane, Breda. I mean, Pierce is good. Achane's going to be in committee. You got Breda maybe for one more week. But if those are my running backs, I guess you have to keep Ford. But I don't know. I have to see what your wide receiver situation is. I don't want to keep digging you in a hole.
Is this a dynasty or redraft?
It's a redraft question.
Yeah, I think maybe Jerome Ford, just if you thin on running backs.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Ford too, based on that. Pierce should have a good week this week. Achane, I don't know what's gonna happen. He'll probably still be involved this week. Yeah, I'll go with Ford. Maybe start those 3 guys: Achane, Pierce, and Ford. You can put 2 running backs and then a flex. All right. If you need more questions, you know where to find us. You can find us on Twitter, Media Dynasty Buffs, and find my partner Max at FF Buffs. Thanks for joining the show. If you got any questions, put them in the comments below. We answer those. If you got any defensive questions, feel free to ask. Thanks for joining in, everybody. I appreciate it. Being said, we are out.
Good luck.